Greetings and welcome to another episode of Kyusho Korner. I'm Sensei Mish and I have Tom all the way from South Carolina. South Carolina. He's out here in the Northwest visiting, and so he was like, oh, hey, let's get together. And I was like, you're going to be in an episode today. So today I want to talk about elements. So I get a lot of questions from viewers. Why do I always kind of give elemental values to to pressure points as for statistics, whatever. There's a bunch of different organizations out there that are Kyusho. Some subscribe to the 5 elemental theory, or some organizations call it martial science. And then there's some that don't. I do it because, well, I want everybody to watch these videos. So I don't really care what organization you belong to. I want you to watch, and I want you to be able to get the most out of every video. So when it comes to Chinese medicine, we look and the 5 elements. We look at the 5 basic elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Okay, so it's kind of funny when I start talking about this in class, because I do teach 5 elements as part of my curriculum. I believe that everybody should have a well-rounded understanding of Kyusho. From my older students, I get, this earth, wind, and fire, and then of course my younger students, I get, is that like the last airbender? I'm like, kind of, but not really. So when it comes to the 5 elements, we look at it from the cycle of destruction. So if we look at it, that fire melts metal, metal cuts wood, wood penetrates the earth, and then earth obstructs water, water quenches fire, and so on and so forth. So if we look at it from that standpoint, we can put different points together to create or enhance other techniques. So I can't remember what episode it was, but I did an episode where I showed one of my favorite locks, the center lock. Okay, so when we look at the center lock, we have, I like to use large intestine 3 and small intestine 5. So you have large intestine, which is metal, and then you have small intestine, which is fire. Well, those two, fire melts metal. So if I was just to do just the technique, okay, I kind of get a reaction, but not really. Okay, if say I'm just trying to get on one point, I'm trying to do one point without hitting the other. Okay, but let's add the 2 points, because I've got the 2 points, as Grandmaster Dillman always said, 2 points, the pain meets in the middle. Okay, so 1 point equals pain, 2 points equal pain in the middle. So I do large intestine, small intestine, and then I get a better reaction. Okay, so I'm enhancing. Now the thing is, there are some points. Now you may watch a Dillman video where he says, the water point over here, or the wood point down here, and you're like, there are no water points or wood points where you're pointing. Pressure points can have multiple elemental values. That's why there are some points where I'm like, okay, this is an earth point and a water point. Okay, so when we look at it from the aspect that we have 12 basic meridians. Each meridian is associated with an element. So say, just like I use large intestine. Large intestine's base element is metal. So all the points along the large intestine meridian are metal, but then there are some points that might have multiple elemental values, and this is where you have meridians that cross, or meridians that come close. Now, if we use spleen 6, okay, spleen 6 is it's a point just above the ankle. It's got 3 elemental values. Now you can watch more about spleen 6 on episode 14 from season 1. I go into more detail there. Spleen 6 is known as the triple yin. mainly because you have 3 yin meridians all intersecting at one point. So if you have spleen, and then you have liver, and then you have kidney. Okay, so spleen being an earth meridian, kidney being a water meridian, and liver being a wood. So spleen 6 essentially has 3 elemental values. And that's kind of, now, you know, here I'm, it might seem confusing the more and more that we put on top of it, because you could go into, you know, that there's a mother-son relationship between pressure points. And you know, the whole brother, sun, sister, moon thing, that's just too much for me. I like looking at it on a basic standpoint. You can, but there are those extra values, and we're just not going to get into that today on this episode. Just looking at it from a basic standpoint. Now, you know, when it comes to theory, okay, you have, say, you know, fire melts metal, metal cuts wood. Okay, so you have 3 elemental values in order, just like we did with the center lock. Those 2, it enhanced the lock. 3 points, elemental values in order, cycle of destruction, could create a knockout. Maybe, but not always, really. Okay. Now, there are questions that I've gotten. What do I subscribe to? Well, I subscribe to both. I am more of kind of a, you know, hit point creates dysfunction type of person. But I did start off under the direction of Dillman, like most people back in the 90s. Everybody was kind of following Dillman, and Dillman followed the 5 elemental theory. Dragon Society does too. I still teach it on a minor level just so my students kind of understand the concept. But when it comes to it, at least understanding it. Now, if I hit you know, a fire point, a metal point, and a wood point, will I knock somebody out? Maybe. But we know that sometimes it just takes 1 point, say even mental nerve over here, I could strike that, boom. That'll just knock them out just like that. But here's the thing, the mental nerve doesn't actually sit on a regular meridian. It's an extraordinary point. So you have, say you have gallbladder 20 in the back. Okay, it's a wood point, all right? But if I strike that hard enough, that's also a concussion point too. So I could essentially knock somebody out. So does elemental theory, does elemental science fit? Yeah, it totally could. But does it not? Yeah, it could too. It all kind of all works on basically on how you're thinking. So, you know, if you're breaking down a kata and you're trying to figure out applications and boom, something works, I might even reverse engineer it and go, okay, well, this works, but you know, what elemental things am I putting together? Because sometimes it just happens. Okay, it just happens. And you know, I could be hitting 1 point to set up another point to set up another point. All right. So I hope this video hasn't been too confusing to you, but that's basically the 5 element theory, science, whatever you want to call it. I didn't really beat up on Tom as much as I thought I would, but I'm glad I have him in today's video. Anyway, take this information back to your dojo, play, have fun, and remember, always be good to your uke. I'll see you on the next video. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today and watching this episode. I genuinely hope that you got something out of it that you can take back to your dojo and play with and learn from. Just to let you know, you can still access us on Facebook, on YouTube, and our website, KyushoKorner.com. All of those you can access 24 hours a day via the web, provided you have good access. We also have episodes on DVD that you can get from Amazon.com. And KyushoKorner.com is actually going to become a membership site, so log on there, find out what kind of membership deals you can get, and I hope to see you around the next video.